Alrighty, fellas. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Patrouski. Welcome back to PokeMMO Stream Recap 453, the first stream recap post the Christmas event. I know a lot of us have been resting, processing, dealing with that. It was a long one. I'm excited for the upcoming Lunar New Year event, which will most likely drop around February 17th. So keep an eye out for that. This is your daily source for tips, tricks, information, news, all that stuff in regards to PokeMMO. It's an honor to have you guys. What's up? What's up? So let's first check on my first order of business. I wanted to actually check my investments. Some of my investments are doing pretty well, some are doing not great, but I wanted to show off, dude, if you invested in the new mysterious balls. Also, like, having an investment that's already up this much in this short of a time is ridiculous. It's so crazy to me that this can still happen in PokeMMO. Honestly, is like what still amazes me. Mysterious great balls are up 50% essentially. I bought most of my mysterious great balls from this past event at 19k, 18k, and now they are up to almost 30,000 Pokeyen a piece, right? So I personally, on the main account, have 500 of these, right? 500. That's not 500. 500 times a 10k Pokeyen gain, essentially, right? I've made 5 million Pokeyen in like a week, like 1 to 2 weeks. I've literally made 5 million Pokeyen in 1 to 2 weeks on this investment. By doing nothing, by just spending my Pokeyen. I always say investments are super powerful in PokeMMO. They're super busted. It's some of the easiest, laziest Pokeyen you'll ever make, or some of the easiest and laziest Pokeyen you'll lose. Because I also bought some Santa presents, and I bought Santa presents, I think at around 38k a piece, 38k, 39, and they have gone down to like 33k a piece. So I missed on that one. It's a mistake, right? So you got to call out your wins and your losses in a market, right? So I bought 300 Santa presents at 38k a piece. I lost about 5k per present. So let's do 300 times 5k. So I lost about 1.5 mil. So I'm still up. The beauty is I'm still up over a 2-week period, like 3.5 million Pokeyen, right? I think I spent 10 to 20 mil, somewhere in that range on investments. 10 to 20 mil on investments. I'm up, what is that, 20% or 10%? It's how much I spent, I guess. I'm up around 10 to 20% after a week or two, which that time frame just feels insane in my opinion. I'm very happy with that. Obviously, I messed up on Santa presents. That's you can't get all market calls correct. Very happy with Mysterious Great Ball so far. All right, that's a quick little investment and market check so far. Next up, we have our typical catch events and what's happening in the game. If you don't know, PokeMMO does host, the staff members of the game host like 3 to 4 catch events every single week. It's a great way to go win some free shiny Pokemon, win some free premium currency. They're a lot of fun, man. We have some more catch events scheduled. For a sec, we didn't have anything scheduled because I think they were focusing on the event, would make total sense, and focusing on jumping into the new year of 2026. But now we have some new catch events. This one on Friday, the 16th of January, 2026. This is coming up in 4 days or so, as it's recorded from 3 days or so from the stream recap, at 2 p.m. ET, Cherry Grove City in Johto. You'll have 1 hour to catch as many Corsola, Starmie, and Krabby as possible with a bold nature bonus. And then there is a shiny Corsola up for grabs. I won a shiny Corsola from a catch event on the Ironman account over the past 7 months or so. Great shiny to win. You can skip so much time. This is a pretty tough shunt, a pretty long shunt. This is a fantastic way to skip a lot of time. Get a free shiny, get a competitive shiny, and you get some free RP in the process. Next up, look at this cute little art, bro. Send this to your partner and say, look, it's you, okay? We got the Cottony catch event, the Fluff Wheel, what is it called? Fluff Wheel Forest. Saturday the 17th of January, 11 a.m. ET, Pinwheel Forest in Unova. You have 1 hour to catch Cottony, Pansage, Petalil, and Sawaddle, with nature bonuses being +5 for bold, +3 for timid. And there is a shiny Cottony up for grabs. You could use this as a gym rerun Pokemon, use it as a raid Whimsicott with Prankster to set up Tailwind. Really usable, really pragmatic, really beneficial reward here. Plus, obviously, that 1000 RP. If you can make these catch events, definitely try to come check them out. They're a lot of fun, and there's great prizes up for grabs. You don't make a whole lot of Pokeyen these days via catch events. You used to be able to make, like, that was the beauty, was back in the day, you would make like 100 to 150k Pokeyen just catching Pokemon for profit, during the events. That's kind of, not there anymore. You can break even with the Pokeball spending, essentially. That's what I would hope for, essentially. Next up, Team Scavenger Hunt. So this is a little bit different. I'm going to try to break this down. There's a Team Scavenger Hunt coming up on Sunday, the 18th of January at 3 p.m. ET. You have to register, though. I haven't read that. I'm reading this for the first time myself, so apologies for any processing. You have to register on the 11th of January, which is coming up, which is yesterday. Wait. I haven't read this. Registrations are up. And registrations end 1 hour prior to the event. So you want to make sure to go register. If you want to do this event, you do need to go register your team as soon as possible. That's what I'll say. I think it's infinite. Is there a limit on team slots? Oh, I'm sorry. I have not seen this myself. Okay. There's a maximum of 50 teams, which I think is 200 players if it's 4-person per team. Players will team up in teams of 4 players in order to hunt specific Pokemon. There will be 20 Pokemon to find. The first team to find all 20 that suit the criteria will obtain the prize. Usually it's things like, a Geodude with Adamant Nature, or a Mareep with 31 special defense. Like, I've done these in the past, and that's what if I recall, that's generally what the Pokemon consist of. And you never really know the Pokemon usually until it comes down to it. But let's see if we actually... Ghost Station, do they actually reveal? Oh, so this straight up reveals... Oh, rules relating to specific Pokemon are down below. So there's a whole lot more information. I'm not going to cover all this. There's a lot of details. It's a very detailed event. If you want to go check it out for yourself, it is over on the forums under official events, but you do need to sign up as a group of 4 to be able to do this. And there's only one team that signed up so far. There's 49 slots left, guys. There's so many slots for this. I think it's a very... It wouldn't surprise me. This is like people are just tired. Like, people really want to team up for an event post Christmas, holidays, New Year, post Xmas event. I think that's why it's so slow right now. But hopefully we get some more teams to sign up, and hopefully you guys can come participate and try to win. What are the prizes? We even see actually. Do they show the prizes? 500 RP, 500 RP per winning teammate. Gotcha. Just some reward points. It seems like kind of a weak prize. No disrespect. I would love to see some more love put into this, which makes it why it's also like not that competitive and why not that people are signing up. Anyways, that's our catch events and our events. Next up is the community showcase. Let's go ahead and jump into it. First thing, I gotta say, this is probably maybe the most impressive community showcase we've seen so far in a while at least. It's a really cool community showcase in my personal opinion. First things first, Kleinar. This guy grinded. Look at this. Yeah, someone in chat immediately said, what? 715 Swarm Pokemon consumed and turned in. I thought that I grinded the event a ton, and I grinded Swarm Pokemon less than Presence, and I ended up with but for reference, maybe I was slightly below average. I think I ended up with 250 or so Swarm Pokemon turned in, 250. This guy had 715. 1715. It is, am I saying something? Sorry, I'm misspeaking. It's insane. Pat can't read. I'm misspeaking. Apologies. It's Monday. Garfield, lasagna, whatever. 1715 players, man. It's fucking Swarm Pokemon turned in. It's crazy. And out of that, he got this many mysterious balls. If we zoom in, 187 great balls, 339 pokes. I think did he already sell some or like? There's no way this is all of what he got from this. I'm assuming he already sold some or opened some. I'm not totally sure, but this is a player. The TLDR is that this is a player who's been playing since July, and this was one of his first events where he just grinded the fuck out, which I thought that was really fucking cool. I think this is a great example. A lot of players think you just can't make Pokeyen as a new player, and you can. If you play, it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but you can do it, right? It's hard. It takes a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears, and Kleinar put in that effort. So shout out to him, man. Really beautiful mysterious ball collection. All right, next up, I told you the community showcase was insane today. Fellas got a shiny Scyther on a premium lore on donor status, and I don't think shiny charm, but on donor status, a premium lore shiny Scyther in a ×3 encounter. Because of that, only the premium lore allows for Scyther to be in that little ×3 single encounter, and he got it 18 seconds before the event ended. He caught the shiny Scyther with 18 seconds. I don't want to pull up the 3. I'm cooked today. 18 seconds left in the Christmas event, which gives that boost, right? Like that plus 15% wild shiny boost very well could have been one of the only reasons he was able to get this, and it ended in 18 seconds. This is just insane. A good rare shiny. It's fucking wild, man. It's so fucking impressive. Shout out to Fellas, an insane Pokemon. Congratulations, dude. This made my jaw drop a little bit, dude. This was so fucking sick. Congratulations, dude. Next up, this guy. Adrienne. I believe it's Adrenne. Sorry if I'm butchering that. Adrienne. This guy is shunting for Phoebus, okay? And if you don't know, Phoebus is I believe it's a 50-50 spot. The hard part is finding the spot. The Phoebus spot changes locations within a certain river every like 15 to 45 minutes, somewhere in that range, right? And once you find the spot, it's a 50-50 between like Sharpedo, Carvana, and Phoebus. And it's like, I believe it's a 50-50 chance, right? I believe. Someone said 75-25. I think it's around, I could be wrong. I think it's around 50-50, but I could be wrong. I think once you find the spot, it's pretty, the Phoebus catch rate is like pretty high, but it's hard to find the spot. This guy is 9 phases deep into Phoebus. I think it's 50-50. I could be wrong. Yes, someone confirmed it is 50%. Thank you. Okay. 9 phases on a 50-50. Imagine shiny hunting at a location for hundreds of hours, only to miss a coin flip 9 times in a row. This is part 1, where he shows one Sharpedo at 48k encounters, a Carvana at 200 encounters, another Sharpedo at 23k, a Carvana at 11k, a Sharpedo at 3k, and then a Carvana at 102. He's got some pretty crazy low encounters here, to be fair, but like, don't get me wrong, but still, 9 phases on a Phoebus shunt, where your average fishing shunt takes, to be fair, nowadays fishing has been buffed via chum buckets, so keep that in mind. But nowadays you get what, 440 encounters per hour. So let's do 30,000 divided by 440. Every fishing shunt is around 68 hours if you with chum buckets. You should be using chum buckets. So every fishing shunt is around 68 hours. It's crazy, man. To go 9 phases on a 50-50. Good luck to you on hopefully completing that soon, man. Good luck to you, Adrian. All right, and then finally, the final achievement from today, from Totes or Untotes, you may know him as, from Team Mr. got his 60th OT shiny within PokeMMO and has filled up a complete box. I love this achievement. I think it's so beautiful. I think it's so fucking cool. I think it's so sick. Congrats to Totes. I think this is such a legendary, you only get it once, you know, legendary shunter type shit, man. Legendary shunter type shit. I love it, dude. I love it so much. Congrats to Totes, dude. Congrats to Totes. Anyways, that's our stream recap intro. Let's go ahead and jump into it, fellas. Someone said, Pat, what are your thoughts on adding an item to de-evolve shinies, saving the money that you would need it to breed, or will that damage the market? There's just no reason to do that. Yeah, the problem is, why implement an item? I think players often err on the side of convenience at the sake of hurting the game. And I not you know, it's easy to think about those things and be like, oh, okay, well, wait a minute, if it's worth for the game, never mind, I don't really want it, right? Like, there's just no reason to hurt the economy and that hurts for the players. Like, I think often people forget, like, when you hurt the economy, it hurts it for the players. I'm not talking about, you know, some intangible thing. Like, that thing actually matters, right? There's no reason to add an item that just lessens the demand for shiny Pokemon, increases the supply. There's just no benefit, as opposed to, it's totally fine to just have to buy shiny Pokemon. It's more interesting, it's more engaging gameplay, having to buy a shiny and having to breed it, having to consume it. It keeps that demand forever. It makes people who get shinies and want to sell them be able to do that. It's just, there's just not, yeah, in my opinion, no reason for something like that, in my opinion. My man, I wish I could grind this game as much as you do and still enjoy it. Do you think streaming creates longevity for you? I burn out so fast. This is a really real point. This is like a real, like, I love this question. I actually love this so much. Yes, to be honest with you, yes, streaming and making content to me is almost an extension. It's almost like a different way to enjoy PokeMMO. Once again, I always compare PokeMMO to Minecraft. I think they're very, very similar games. And a lot of people, like Minecraft, go on PokeMMO 2-week arcs where they play the game for 2 weeks, have a lot of fun, and move on. Nothing wrong with that. I think people, sometimes they feel guilty for leaving the game, or they feel bad for taking a break. Don't, man. Play games that you have fun with. I'm happy to love PokeMMO, but if you aren't loving it, or, you know, don't feel bad. It's totally okay. I love this game, right? But, like, it's okay, man. Don't play a game that, you know, you feel bad, burn out, blah, 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 right? Now, you can do a few things to, like, ease or, like, try to refine fun, I guess. I always say Ironman accounts are fantastic, right? Creating challenge accounts, Nuzlocke, just being creative and doing what's fun for you and trying to look at the game in different ways. I think streaming, you're not like as outward as that. Like, you don't have to stream. You could just be in Discord with the boys. Like, I think hanging out in Discord, making PokeMMO a social game, right? If you feel burnt out from PokeMMO and you aren't in a team, that is like my step one. Join a team. teams are so amazing in PokeMMO for keeping the game interesting, for making friends, for socializing, for advancing your progress, like selfishly, like for having cool events. Like, teams are amazing. The people involved in teams, anybody who hosts a team in PokeMMO, like, it is so much work, so much effort, and it's just all to foster like a beautiful social atmosphere, dude. Yeah, there's so many things you can do. I have a few videos talking about like what to do if you're feeling burnt out in PokeMMO, because it is a really common sentiment. Grindy games, when you do the same things you gotta shake things up, you know. It's just like real life. If you just like go to work every day, come home and like play, like do the same thing, like you're gonna get in a rut and feel like shit. You've got to go explore things. And I always say there's literally there's a shiny in chat. Congrats, Tom. Sorry. I've been playing this game for over 11,000 hours. There are pieces of content that I've never touched, right? I just learned the crafting system decently recently, right? I've never won a PvP tournament. I've only participated in a handful of PvP tournaments. I've solo queued, you know, I played a lot of PvP ranked, but like tournaments, never done a whole lot, right? The battle frontier, I've barely touched, right? Going for leaderboards, high scores. The ribbon system, I've never touched. Like, there are literally things that I've never touched, and I play the game for 11K hours. So like, going and exploring new things is always huge. Something that I used to do when I was like omega burnt in PokeMMO, I would get a bunch of utility Pokemon, HM Pokemon, whatever you want, you know, whatever, a damp Pokemon in my party, and I would just run around the world. I wouldn't like, oh, I'm going to this spot to shiny hunt, or no, just go explore, just go. And sometimes you find new spots, new little shiny hunts you never really heard someone else at before, or go to before, or you find a group of people like at an activity. Also, just like being involved in the community, doing catch events. Like, there are tons of things you can do to make the game more interesting, but it requires a little bit of work sometimes, and I think PokeMMO is worth that, but not everybody does, which is like super fair. Like, a lot of people want to come home from work, queue up Fortnite, and just relax, right? PokeMMO is not really that for everybody. For some people, Shunt is that, but it just, everybody's different. Find what's best for you, find the way to play PokeMMO for you. Hopefully some of these tips help, but if not, play games that you enjoy, you know. Now, this is also a great talking point and a great question. Someone said, I want to start egging since I'm 26,000 encounters dry. Is this bad reasoning? The logical answer is yes, of course, because your shiny rate never changes. No matter if you're 100k dry or 1k dry, your physical shiny rate is still 1 in 30,000. However, the emotional reasoning is if that makes you feel more motivated to shiny hunt, more motivated to egg hunt because you are a bit drier, go for it. Whatever motivates you to do those tough shunts, you should take advantage of. That's like the catch-22, is like acknowledging that logically it doesn't matter, but shiny hunting is an emotional game. It's all about never giving up, right? No, yeah, someone said you are due, like, no, you're never due a shiny, you're never like owed a shiny, nothing like that, right? But if you can kind of like, if you can use it to trick, like, it's a funny, like, it's almost like a whatever gets you in the gym sort of thing. Like, if you can lie to yourself to go to the gym every day, you're still going to the gym, right? As long as you know it. It's that catch-22 of like sometimes enabling fallacies to an emotional advantage, but still understanding in the realm of that they are a fallacy, right? So whatever motivates you, keep that in mind. Good luck to you on your egg shunt, dude. It's funny that another question like this gets asked, but also makes sense. Like, I think it's one of the number one problems we got to solve in PokeMMO. And if so many players feel this way, in my opinion, it indicates a pattern that needs to be solved somewhere via gameplay. Nova Plays says that I haven't played PokeMMO in a year, and I just don't know what to do at the end game, and I get very irritated trying to decide what I want to do. So I just end up watching you. Okay, I'm honored that that's your default is to watch me, but like, dude, there's so many options. There's so many options. How do I explain this? The end game of PokeMMO is like you have a million roads in front of you to pick, but all the signs are like blurred out, so you don't know where they, like, it's very confusing, if that makes sense. Like, there are tons of roads you can travel in PokeMMO, but you don't but none of them, it's almost like you're overwhelmed by the choices. Like, none of them sound perfect at times. I've always said I think the number one thing to like solve this, the number one thing is achievement log. I think some sort of achievement log, achievement diary that gives players goals would be legendary for PokeMMO. I think something like, oh, beat the Ho-Oh fight 10 times, or beat the Red Re fight 3 times, or you'll get an achievement if you do this thing. I did a video a long time ago called Poke Scrolls, which was actually a clue scroll style mechanic that I kind of developed. I thought about, you know, in Pokemon, I kind of threw together. And that was the idea of like, oh, what if you brought a shiny Starmie to the top of Mount Silver? And if you did that, you would like unlock some sort of thing, some sort of prize or whatever, right? And that does a few things. It encourages you to go do a Staryu shiny hunt, right? And then it also encourages you to have complete Pokedex and have Mount Silver done. So like certain goals or quests or achievements, things that encourage you to have other things done. Like, it sounds so silly. Yeah, man, dude, RuneScape and PokeMMO are very parallel, and there are so many updates that have happened to old school RuneScape that would work so well in PokeMMO and solve so many of the problems that we are also experiencing that old school RuneScape also had. Like, when you're bored in old school RuneScape, you can look at the skill sheet, the list of skills, or the list of bosses, or the achievement, and be like, oh, what do I want to do today? If you're bored in PokeMMO, what do? You think about like, oh, I guess I could shiny hunt. I guess I could, you know, make money. You think of like very broad things, right? Imagine if in old school RuneScape they thought, oh, I'm bored, what should I do? Do I want a skill? Do I want a boss? That's all the content. But no, it's way more than that. It's you're being reducing, you're being reductive, right? When you're reductive, things seem a lot more boring than they really are. If you think of PokeMMO as just shiny hunting, money making, you know, whatever, yeah, of course the game doesn't have that much content. Oh, but shiny hunting, time swipe hordes, specifically Cryogonal during the winter, or, you know, Weavile 50-50 spot with this mon, and oh, actually single encounters with lures. Should I premium lure? Should I chum bucket? And like, there are so many layers, and trying to, like, I think having a better achievement log or a better list of specific achievements, specific things to shoot for would help players a lot in terms of making that decision. The biggest problem that PokeMMO players face every day is like, what should I do today? What should I do? And I think I want to work on in 2026, hopefully creating some sort of content that helps players do that. Here's a great question. Pat, do you think that daily quests, leaderboards, and achievements would be the way to go? I'm adverse to daily quests, but not against them. Hear me out, okay? The problem is that daily quests and daily login rewards, things like that, are usually used in mobile games or addictive gacha games to incentivize logging in every single day, just to encourage building that habit and that behavior, right? So I'm adverse to daily but they're not inherently wrong. They just often are used for bad purposes, right? But leaderboards and achievements, yes, those are like a giga yes. Like, I would love to see the developers, I'd love to see PokeMMO put more work and effort into that, please. But daily quests I'd be more averse to, but not closed off to. This is a great question. Someone said, any advice for hunting Entei? I always say, as a shiny hunter, as someone who loves long grinds and running back and forth for different colored virtual monsters, I don't know why, but for some reason, I think legendary hunts feel worse than shiny hunts. I think because they're supposed to be like much easier to find. So then if you go dry it, like if I'm like single encountering for a 1 in 30,000 odds, my expectation of getting it is so low. Like, the odds are so insane, right? But a legendary is a guess. We don't know the rate, but it's guesstimated to be about 1 in 5,000. So you kind of expect it within like 20 hours or so, right? So when you don't get it, or you know, it just feels that much more like shit, I guess. So like, I would almost recommend, someone's any advice for, like, you know, legendary hunting. My advice would be to do legendary hunt as a second activity, if possible. Go to a shiny hunting spot that you really want, and then if you get the legendary, cool. But that's not, you have to like almost trick yourself. That's not why you're there, right? Trick your mind to be like, I'm here to shiny hunt this, and if I get Entei, cool. If not what I'm here for, you know? I think that's the best way to go about it. And then just like not thinking, it's almost like shutting, like having it be like a second monitor thing, like watching a movie, TV show, whatever. Sometimes it's fun to lock in and really focus, but often I think most shiny hunters, legendary hunters, just want it to be like a passive progress thing and do something else on the side while you make progress in PokeMMO. That's my honest opinion, suggestions and advice. Great question. Pat, do you have any thoughts on the idea of implementing buffs for fossil farming locations in other regions? I don't know if, like in other regions, that's kind of interesting. That's actually a great point, because right now, Sinnoh fossil farming is the best region by far. I like the idea. You don't want to, other regions should be harder and easier. I think it's good to have the difficulty scale, but it is pretty severe right now how different they are. I'd be open to more farmable locations. I think farming items in general needs a little bit of a buff. I think farming items in general, I could be wrong. I think farming items in general, it almost felt like there was like a shadow. I almost am never the person to assume this, but like it felt like there was like a shadow nerf within the past year or so to like amulet coin farm, like certain like time swipe item farms feel like they got hurt really hard. Where like now you need item magnet charm to like the same rates that you would get previously. I think a lot of other players have felt that, but that's just anecdotal. I don't have like I don't have data, so I can't like prove that. I'm not claiming that. I'm just saying I'm specifically using very important language. It's felt like that over the past year or so. I think a lot of players have noticed that. Someone says, hey Pat, I currently have a few 5x31 or 5x not 31, 5x horde and 3x horde shinies, but now I'm thinking I kind of want to go for an edge shiny Typhlosion. How can I keep expenses lower than the massive 150 million average price tag? You say you also have 40 million Pokeyen right now. Firstly, congrats. 40 mil is a really good start. That is like a huge amount of Pokeyen. Be proud of that. Secondly, there's not really a way to get expenses lower. It's just expensive right now. Edge shunts are really expensive. And then thirdly, I wouldn't recommend starting until you just save more money. And it's because 40 mil is so much. You should be proud of that. It's a lot of pure yen, right? But in my opinion, I would just keep saving and not like the biggest mistake that I ever made, or one of the biggest in PokeMMO, was starting my Cranidos hunt too early. I started my Cranidos hunt at 42 million Pokeyen cash, and I also had like 3 30-day donor statuses and like 10 to 20 shiny charms, and it wasn't nearly enough. And it hurt. I ran out of Pokeyen before I was able to get the shiny, and I was doing my Jimmy runs every day. I was still making Pokeyen while doing the hunt as well. But it's just so expensive. Like, I ran out of Pokeyen before I could finish the Shunt, and that put me in this really awkward situation where I would like log in every day, do my Jimmy run, you know, make Pokeyen, spend what I could, but then I could either like time swipe horde and break up my Cranidos hunt, or just make more. I basically like locked myself into a miserable situation of getting not the shiny that I want, or just make Pokeyen nonstop and turn into a zombie. And it was a tough spot. So just, I cannot recommend enough just saving Pokeyen. Just, I would not start a shiny hunt, an egg shunt these days with like less than, this hurts me to say, less than like 80 to 100 mil. I think that's with like, you've got, but even then, like, the problem is they made egging so much faster. Maybe that's number isn't even correct. I wouldn't start an egg shunt unless you have like 120 mil. Egging is so much faster. When I started egging, when I did my Cranidos, the average player was making 400 eggs an hour, and you were hatching, oh man, what was it, like 5, you were hatching like 60 eggs an hour or something. Is it that low? No shot. Something like that. It was every 5 minutes you would hatch 5 eggs, right? So that's 12 times, yeah. So back when I started hunting Cranidos, you would hatch 60 eggs an hour, if that, yeah, 60 eggs an hour, and you would make 400 eggs a batch. Nowadays, you make 600 to 700 eggs a batch. That's up by, they've buffed that by 50%, and you hatch 8 eggs at a time, right? So now you're hatching 12 times 8, 96 eggs. So like the egg shutting has gotten over 100% faster due to buffs, right? It's fucking crazy, right? But it's still expensive, and it's gotten more expensive because the higher speeds has increased the demand for dittos. So that's like, I don't like egg shutting anymore on a main account because of these changes, which sucks personally. But not to get into that, but these reasons are why it's never been more important to have the Pokeyen up front. I used to recommend people to save at least half of the Pokeyen, like at least 65 mil or so. That was back when egg hunts costed 120 mil. The problem is, when I started egg hunting, egg hunts used to be really slow and long, but cost 120 mil, which is still super expensive, right? But then they made them like 50% faster, but then they costed 150 mil. And then they made them even more faster, and then they made them what's it called, right? Now it's like 180 mil. Like now an egg hunt is like 180 mil, so it's even more expensive, but it's faster. And the whole point is it's supposed to be like a long hunt, not a money hunt. I hate the money prioritization of that's a different discussion, but just to let you know why it's more important than ever, I wouldn't start an egg hunt without like 120 to 150 mil, which sucks. It's so much Pokeyen pure cash to try to get. This is a great question. I'm going to give you the honest answer. It said, question, is it better to make raid Pokemon for the Lunar New Year event, or should I just buy Shaymin off the GTL if that's all I want? I would just buy Shaymin. If you don't care about having OT, if you don't care about collectibles, if you don't care about shiny chance, if you don't care about the vanity, or if there is a vanity, I would just buy it. As a main account, that's the beauty. What's the beauty of the Iron Man account? The Iron Man forces you to do all the content. As a main account, at the end of the day, you know, you don't have to do anything in the MMO. If you just want certain things, just buy it. At the end of the day, so much of the gameplay loop is just make Pokeyen buy stuff, which is why I've loved moving to the Iron Man account. But you have to, as a main account, have certain goals and have certain achievements you want to go for. So I think on my main account, I always loved going for like the one OT of each legendary like, every single year. Like I think that's really important. Like I went for like Patrouski, OT, Shaymin. Like having that collectible is important in my opinion. But if you don't care about that, yeah, don't worry about it, you know? Are the raid Pokemon for the New Year event already released? There is a great question. There's a 95% chance, I would say, a 95% chance that the Lunar New Year event raid Pokemon will be the exact same raid Pokemon as last year. Since the Halloween and the Xmas event both did the same thing, it would be really shocking if Lunar New Year event was different. So the strategy, they usually do change the strategies and change like the balancing a little bit, so keep that in mind. But the Pokemon are probably a 95% chance going to be the same. Great question. So you can prepare ahead of time. And I do plan to make a Lunar New Year event prep guide as soon as possible. It's just a matter of time and energy. Yo Pat, I'm trying to shiny hunt Charmander. I'm doing wild encounters on Route 3, so it's taking very long. I'm not egging because I don't have the money. I was wondering if you think it's faster getting the money. Yeah, so if you don't know, yes, that's why egg shunting is a thing. It is faster, even if you calculate the hours. We can just do it right now. If even after calculating the hours to make the Pokeyen, it is literally faster to egg shunt than to wild shunt, because the singling for Charmander I think is 2,000 hours. It's 5% chance. It's 100 hours per shiny hunt with lore, with expert lures, and the swarm Pokemon. It's about 2,000 hours, I believe, for a Charmander, right? In the wild, egging is similar, but like let's say you make 300,000 Pokeyen an hour. You need how much? You need like 150 mil, 180 mil. It's getting more expensive, but the hours to actually egg hunt is so much faster these days. So like let's say you need 180 mil. Divide that by 300k. That's like a slow. You should be realistically. This number is not going to be accurate because realistically, the way that players are actually making money to do egg hunts, which egg hunts are literally for the top 1%. This is like a top 1% like super like exclusive activity for a reason. Like it's the rarest shunts in the game. Not every player should have access to egg shunting. I think that's a fine opinion, a fine take, right? It's always been the case. It's a very, very rare, like you aren't entitled to be able to do rare shunts. You can do them if you want in the wild, like the Charmander spot, right? But it's gonna be difficult, right? So this is how much time it would take, how many hours it would take if you grind 300k an hour. But realistically, people who are getting the money to egg shunt are doing investments, they're doing, you know, flipping, they're doing higher end money making methods that are a lot more passive as opposed to just doing their gym rerun every day, right? So factor that in. But actively, it's about 600 active hours to grind the Pokeyen to do egg hunts. And then I think it's also about 400 to 600 more hours to actually do the egg hunt itself. So let's even assume on the high end, you know, it's 600 hours for the hunt, 600 for the money. That's 1,200 hours. So like if it takes 1,200 hours to make the Pokeyen and then go egg shunt, you're still saving 800 hours versus single encountering, right? So that's the egg hunting is faster still. Even if you calculate the time it takes to make the money, it is still so much faster than just wild encountering for Charmander. You should never, for efficiency reasons, you should know that. But if you want to go for it for fun, I think it's awesome. On an Iron Man account, it's arguable that you should like go single encounter for Charmander because the time it would take to get all the dittos would be super, super long, right? So that's like there's some interesting stuff there, I guess. We should honestly, I should calc that at some point. I should calc how many dittos can I catch per hour and then compare it to like try to figure out. I don't know if anyone has calced how long it would take to do an egg shunt on an Iron Man account. I don't think those numbers have been crunched yet. Someone brought up, is the XP Amplifier worth it? I love talking about it. It definitely, the XP Amplifier is worth to get on a main account, but I wouldn't like rush to get it. However, it's probably cheaper right now because the RP is so cheap, right? So like, usually the XP Amplifier is like 2.2 to like 2.8 mil. At 1.7, like I would only recommend the XP Amplifier to like a late mid-game player, like pushing towards endgame PokeMMO. At this price, being like 500k to like 800k less, or even up to 1 million Pokemon less than what it normally is. Yeah, with RP being so cheap, take advantage of the fact that gift shop items are cheaper than ever. Buy that extra amplifier now before it gets more, goes up again in price at one day. Or shiny charms. Like are shiny charms like 170k a piece? 180k? Woo! Like, wow. That's, dude. Shiny charms average about 250k for reference. That's a big, like, good market calls to be if you want to stock up in the long term and like super in the future. Like, shiny charms are really cheap right now compared to what they normally are. They're still like not, shiny charms are mostly just used for shiny wars and things like that. Oh, speaking of, like, I wonder, we're not used to this kind of economy in PokeMMO. We're just not used to this. We haven't seen enough of this cycle swindle for sure. I wonder if shiny wars will be one of the newest driving forces of the RP price in PokeMMO. Previously, prior to shiny wars, it was like events, like holiday events, like people, credit card swiping, buying RP for the vanities, the limited, blah blah blah. I wonder if now it's going to end up becoming shiny wars. I wonder if people will, and it depends on, like, what happens is it's all supply and demand. Will more people credit card swipe to prep for shiny wars or just play the game? I personally always just play the game. I never really credit card swipe in PokeMMO personally. Not to, shame it, but it's just not how I play the game. I like to separate IRL and in-game accomplishments personally. But yeah, I'm curious to, RP is such a tough gamble. RP is 50-50. It's like, if you want to invest in RP, it is quite literally 50-50. Will it go up or will it go down due to an event or due to a, some sort of event? It's so hard to predict. But I am curious this year what happens with shiny wars. I'm curious if shiny wars will be a driving factor in its price going up and hopefully helping that market out a bit. I'm curious to see. We'll just keep an eye on it this year. Someone said, I remember when shiny charms were 200 to 300k. This is this is like not that long ago. Was it 2023 or was it 2022? At one point, I think for the first, no, it was before shiny war, the official shiny wars. Shiny charms at one point were 1 million Pokeyen. Because I think shiny charms used to not be in the gift shop. They used to only be a limited item drop from lucky red envelopes from the Lunar New Year event. But they added them to the gift shop to help sustain the price. What would happen is every single year, I think 2022 was the last year we had this. I once bought a shiny charm for 1 million Pokeyen during Team Mr. Shiny Wars. I just had, it's super expensive. Imagine paying 1 million Pokeyen for one shiny charm. What would happen is people would, all the shiny charms, they would all come into the game during the Lunar New Year event. And then that was it. That was the whole supply for the rest of the year. When PokeMMO was growing so much, let's say like the game was growing so much, you'd have maybe like, I don't know, 10k players play the Lunar New Year event. But then by the time like summer rolls around, you have like 20 or 30k players because the game was just growing so much, right? And so like the supply and demand just couldn't sustain. So the devs had to end up adding shiny charm to the RP, which is honestly a great, it's one of the weird, like usually adding an item to the RP shop would be like a red flag. Like, why would you do that? Because it like promotes pay to win. But in reality, people were credit card swiping to buy the RP vouchers to sell those. They would sell a 1,000 RP voucher for like 2 mil and then buy 2 shiny charms. Right. So like adding shiny charm to the gift shop actually made the devs less money, but it made the price of the item more sustainable and made the economy healthier. So there are moments like that where the devs, obviously I take issue with some of the devs' decisions, but sometimes the devs make decisions for the game where it's like literally hurting them for a positive benefit for the game, and they don't really get credit for that. But whenever they add mysterious, but they get dogged, they add mysterious balls, as they probably, took a critique a lot for that, but like they don't get the credit when they do make nice decisions for the game like that. So just like positives and negatives. Anyways, fellas, a lot of yapping today, a lot of discussion, a lot of talking points. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like it if you want to see more PokeMMO stream recaps. If you like this video, dislike if not, that's okay. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos. I do upload every single day. Follow me on Twitch. I stream Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's down below if you're interested in that. But to go above and beyond and support the channel, support the content, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal and Venmo donations do help out a ton. I will see you guys tomorrow for Tranquil Tuesday. I'll see you later. Have a good one, guys. But for now, peace, Arena. Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here. I wanted to take this second to say thank you so much for watching the entire video. It is thanks to people like you I'm able to make the content that I do, as well as everybody whose name is listed here. That's it for me. Have a fantastic day.